service.
I have a lot of respect for Naropa as an institute and for all of you students studying here.
Today
we are going to discuss meditation. Meditation is something indispensable for all religious or spiritual traditions. Without meditation, it's like a person without a life force. Without a life force, you're just a corpse. So, what did Buddha Shakyamuni say? He said, the bliss gone one, the Sugata, endowed with awareness and endowed with sight and endowed with feet. What that phrase actually refers to, there are three things mentioned there. So sight or awareness, we translate it as referring to the view. When we say feet, we're referring to the meditation. And the one gone to bliss, Sugata, refers to the result. So view, meditation, result. So, if we lack eyes, but we don't have feet, even if we can, if we lack eyes but don't have feet, we can walk around, but it's most likely we will just walk into a wall or walk off a cliff, or if you're somewhere like here, you'll walk across a road without seeing a car coming and get run over. Likewise, if you don't have eyes but you have feet, you're not going to be able to see where you want to go, So basically, in order to get anywhere, you need both eyes and feet, right? So the eyes is an example for the view, right? The vision of the view. Feet is an example for meditation. Meditation is what actually gets you there. If we practice meditation, however, without the view, so like walking without eyesight, no matter how good your meditation technique might be, the result it brings about is going to be limited to the benefits of this life. You might be able to attain some miraculous powers, some sort of what we call the common siddhis, like clairvoyance, miraculous powers and abilities. You might attain some great sort of conditioned bliss and happiness that will bring you pleasure in this life. However, a meditation that lacks the view will never bring you to liberation, will never bring you to enlightenment. It's simply not possible. This is why it's so important to first establish the view. It's like first establishing eyesight, vision, clear sight. However, if you just develop clear sight, but you don't actually, so you can see where you're going, but you don't actually follow through and walk the path, meaning you don't have feet, you don't use your feet, which is like meditation, you're never going to get to the destination, right? So we need these two things, view and meditation, hand in hand. let's say the highest mountain in the world is Mount Everest, right? This mountain in Nepal, said to be, I think, 8,400 meters high. And it seems to have got a bit higher, maybe 8,450 meters these days. To get to the summit, like Edmund Hillary and Tenzin Sherpa and so on did, you need to walk up there step by step, right? It's 8,000 meters high, but each meter needs to be traversed by individual steps. So that's like meditation practice, right? You can have the view, but you need to actually, conjoin that view with meditation. So whatever approach you're taking, whether it be the approach of the middle way, Madhyamaka, Mahamudra, the Great Seal, Dzogchen, the Great Perfection, you need to actually train in that view step by step, meaning to practice. It's only by that gradual, sustained practice that you will reach the result. Otherwise, it's simply not, without that kind of step-by-step practice, it's not possible to reach the result. And it's for this reason that meditation is so important.
tawa goni mungu xie dina te tuzu tu tawa zoru re dina ta chuzu tu mungu ta tawa xie kyungu dine ta dili nga doi focus di gom tong chigo re te indi ka ta gom kanchi gyagi ime se hindi tangbu nishu de la tawa di yabu xie go re tawa di kari yin kyo gom di kari gyagi yin uma ki gom gyagi yin da chaya chimbu gom gyagi yin da zoba chimbu gom gyagi yin tangbu di di nye go re ma to ke tawa di kawa yeba ji ma ge na te gom di din tanda se ge na xin chok ro ro res rikyu di sha ro yin la goba de nubri gyab de na 공주로래 인디가라 아무 따와디 네고 티켄나 바탐지다 내 용대 용인 가장제 배 남남 먹고 로마당 배자 먹고 다교당 아무것도 된지랑서 남밖에 되네 내가랑서 다 좀 달라 인데기로 놓으세요 샤다 인디가마 얘기 계속 답지 하고가 버래 인디 당고 되는 공작인 가리고는 공작이 그래서 당고 띠띠네 되는 게 그랬어 인디가 띠띠 망이 왜 지내지 당상 고민이들아 미좀 나만 주된 게 제된 이런들아 산을 셈 남도 까 남도 끼에 맞죠 남도 그 예수만 나한테 이제 나라서 남도 봐 분위기 지서 버려다 자 돈나고 시작해나 신가도 자주 내가 루그도 들어가 디나스라다 나도 자 돈나고 시작해요 디나니 가을 맞죠 시작해 남도 까 시키더라 곰 당상 곰 되지 뭐 serious 가사가라 진짜기 검도다 되는 직선 때때 버려서 gendo다 이기 두도다 아도다 엄도지 때니 샘데 버려서 gendo다 야 말이 지기데 카르가도 어디도 셀링도 되는 상태라 아삼된 때 버려서 내가 세게 먹고 있어 그냥 지금 곰 말이 시키면 곰래 디한테 신이기 곰지래 곰라 곰망고 요래 어디인데 더 신이 곰지래 신이 세겐데 곰기 되네 마르자도 마시도 되네 근데 시들 때문에 얘네 지금 뭐네 게르 조금 상황인데 게르 조금 조금 도선이 때까지 동의대 인지선 공지야 얘는 저바신 모르겠나 가다 추출도 토다서 공지 곰라 미라 먹고 공지를 당고 시된디 샘템부 샘르고 지샤드디 디디는 계셔버려 디계셔버려 다 당상이 이게 차게 전부 저바신 꿈을 전부 공지되지 다양한 것이 개통점이 내가 되게 되게 고마워해 something 나서 진짜 something 뭔가 요새도 또 당이 뒤뒤 조금만 더 쉬어다 유튜브 쪽으로 내가 다들 그 마마 쪽에 세당다 지금 로마 쪽에 년당다 저 탐지디 샘남 똑게 맞아 왔다고 보면서 되게 리스트릭션 물에 사람들 땅이나 아무도 못 나고 산지기 뷰지네 땅이나 뭐가 싶은지 이 통도스
So, as I've said, one's meditation practice needs to be based on the view, on a given view. But if we talk today about the view of our entire hour, we only have an hour together. So if we talk about the view, all of our time will go on that. So we're going to focus today just on meditation. When you set out to engage in meditation, first of all, you need to know, or one needs to establish the view, meaning, actually, what type of meditation is one want to train in? Meaning, what view does one want to meditate upon, right? So, what meditation are you doing? Are you going to meditate on the middle way, on Mahamudra, on the Great Perfection? without first clarifying the view that you're going to meditate on. Meditation is not, your meditation is going to have no clarity and no direction. It's a bit like, say your destination is in the east, but then you set off in the west. You're not going to reach your destination. So all of you here are very learned, I'm sure. You're students of the Buddha Dharma. You probably studied the scriptures and Buddha's teachings, studied at the feet of great teachers. So no doubt you're all aware of these points, the importance of these points. But to reiterate, first of all, when it comes to meditation, we need to be clear about, okay, what meditation am I actually going to do? What kind of meditation? Because meditation is just not one lump sum thing. These days, it seems many people make the mistake of thinking that. It seems, on YouTube and here and there and everywhere, people are explaining meditation to be just a simple act of, sitting down in a meditation posture with your legs crossed, closing your eyes, and entering a sort of calm state, trying to halt thoughts, to stop thoughts from arising, not chasing after thoughts, and enter some, thought-free state. A bit like putting a chicken in a cage, right? And sort of preventing it from flying, preventing it from moving. Like just halting thoughts, stopping thoughts moving. That's meditation. It's not to say that that's not meditation. It's a type of meditation, but meditation is not limited just to that. Some people also say, meditating in this way is just focused on an object or a syllable R, or listening to the sound of a singing bowl, that is meditation, and that's meditation full stop. That is really limited understanding. So like I said, yes, these are types of meditation. They are types of shamatha meditation, calm abiding meditation. However, when we talk about meditation, there are many, many different types of meditation. So shamatha is one such type of meditation. We can say it's the basis or foundation for all other types of meditation. With a sound foundation in shamatha practice, then based on that, one can train in the tantric practices of generation and completion stages. If one's following the vehicle of characteristics, meaning the sutra teachings, one can train in emptiness. According to the path of the great perfection, one can practice in trecha of primordial purity and tava of spontaneous presence, and so on and so forth, with a sound basis of shamatha practice. So shamatha is a very important, the practice of shamatha is very important as a basis or foundation for further meditation training. When we say shamatha, basically we're talking about cultivating a calm, one-pointed state of mind. But many people these days are unaware of this fact. They're unaware that there are different types of meditation. And as a result, they end up thinking meditation is just one simple thing sort of across the board. And this is a very big mistake, actually, especially from the perspective of the Buddha Dharma. This is a very erroneous, a big misunderstanding.
Jitting punch of Tokula, as a Gomjama Gilchum, Jitting punch of the dance like modern science, comes to do Nitagi love the Shingam drinking to Suesadu, Combajava Mindo, Palin and Namprusha, the Galician Channel, the Togal, Combajam, Tower Mindo, Lip Namper Chaludu, then Tower drilling into Nambrigido, denying a color in a Sigmund Sasa, Hawad Rodro, Hawad did it, pay Chigunegi, charging some Nanasi. Unīgi kērāma lāpar dā Amerikā tō jīgī tēnē jī sāyū dō dā jīgī sūshirā tō chēshā tō lāpar tō ārāṁ tō shārshō tō mīsū tā jī tō Amerikā tē unīgi sāchū kī shīngam nī tsabu tī lāpar tā sāchū shīngam Amerikā sāgī tēngi tī lāpar tā unīgi sāchū kī shīngam nā jīgī kūrē shitā mī shārgī tīnā jīgī tūnyā pūntū tsōgō yōgirē tē yīnā yā mīlā kīpū Jason Road, the San Bamaki, Mango, the Datuba Mango, the Nena, Mango, Mango, Kibu, Member, Swamp, Mango, 다 된적이더니 뭐니 축구 살아 까마 장구 살아 에듀케이션 요긴라 까마 메주신 요긴라 까마 파워도 당선 정말 내가 디브레이션 중에 나자도 상담 디브레이션 나자도 캔서 오시거래도 윤대 매발에 윤대 요긴라 마 디브레이션 축이야 축구를 장구를 축구를 되는 디브레이션 마 얘네 지난 신직이 나랑도 지금 미디어에 있나요 지금 윤대 매발에 윤대 여발에 되는 디브레이션 축이야 약간 축구를 장구를 되는 축구를 장구를 축구를 약간을 딱 가운데 야자잖아 얘를 막 근데 이제 공주로 되는 거가 가서 찾아요. 그래서 당시 때문에 지금 쌤기 되기 약고 좀 맡아고 가도 지단계 등급이 되게 딱 그냥 더 말해 삼네. 다 로지야 당갑주 지나 센터 생리기 약게 치고잖아. 그제 로지야 멈추지 인사는 것도 내가 로지야 당갑주 니자 로고서 말해. 어디서 디레지긴 나네. 딱 단다 벌써 리절트 강조하잖아. 생리고 친구들이 대화에 강한들 때마다 뭐 말해 진짜 우리는 당시 기부서 축구스 대우스 로트로 사테고 관도 텔레폰 모바일 때문에 다치세 구글도 다다 AI 쓰게도 진짜 중요한 미 답이 기쁘기서 신경나래 신경쓰는 로그 주면 쓰게도 이제 샘랑나랑서는 컨셉스를 가서 진짜기 때문에 이지진의 세력과 로다게 주자는 중 같은 깔리기업이 나서 오늘 나오는 우리는 대체 신경도 좀 소소해야 돼 이나양 누구한테 누구한테 셈시나 telema 마티바텔에 마도가 그렇죠. 이 도미트부터 어떤 얘기 탐지 가면서 choose this go do this. choose 는 거. choose 는 얘기네. 야부지 레도스. choose 는 choose 야부지 봐. choose 덕선균이 되어버려 맞아. choose 고라션 편도 말이야. 선주 제규가 탑 약속 가면 곰. 선비를 되게 빼. 가서 너를 줘놔야 하던 말에 시대나 제 님부터 질마도 되는 냠내 맞은 편도 냐네 제기도 곰. 이거는 나도 인지도 노쇼뱅이 잡이 곰 메디테이션 지우가서 뭐는 메디테이션스 그 미기 추르 또도 얘는 곰이 간지야 곰 간지스 거 곰은 가르래 딱 맞아 다 하는데 신이지 구르지 곰 되겠잖아 진짜 로카시지 그 신이지 곰게 있나 신이 거라 리미트 주저주 뒤주저도 줘서 봐줘 양용 몰라라기요 이게 걔는 좀 편집집니다 맞아 펜킬러 사겠는데 뭐지도 주주직 수 매발서 주주직 제가 양속에 하려고 뭐 펜킬러 주주 니긴 니바에 주주 시긴 니바에 아주 니바 디제 아주 니바 줘 그래도 신지기 신이스게 셈네 빠지고 제가 몸 잡지는 않고 배미게 나와도 너무 두수 좋았다 아이나 내가 펜다 통구요한테 이 푸기 땡기 되는 사람 저희는 뭐 나서 싼데 병행이 되는 그런 거는 알아서 엔디베틱 나신 나서 저원 매우서 두게 써인 말에 이인도가 나만 싫을 못이 빌람라 곰잡이 삼된 당분이 와서 버터 요 오야 되네 그럼 티스 발표를 듣는 게 진짜기 때문에 곰잡이 티스 야 티스 lep서 있어 야 티스 버터 나도 탐네 가나 가로 로동사 치다 버터 되네 당은 얘기 된다기 티스 버터 나도 예서나야 야 티제라 남도기야 나야 남들 수요다는 나도 자충충 경험을 이루는 거서라 시그리 직도 이거 집 할ter만 매치를 우리도 bed이나야 남도 충충 되게 남도 자들은 야에게 수가 수미가 수감도 도감 야발은 그렇게 요리스 니는 좀 말해 이게 방금 뭘로 비시는 손도 어디 있는 되는 거다 가리고 그러시면 곰가면서 곰도 가리고 그러서 봐도 당문에 땡기 되어도 곰지고 땡기 되어도 곰이 가서 한번 다음에 또 비시라도 그거 한번 다음에 또 비시라도 상기 좀 된들만 신다 수치를 주고 요만 이게 다음에 비기 주고 또 많이 되는데 우마다 되는 다음에 또 있는 거 디 곰니 이니 나랑서 당진 나 세게 곰기 잘 배워서 당고 따올 거 다음에 받잖아 봐봐지 이니 곰비 거는 로당 따와고 바깥에 당진 싸우는 식습이 제수 때니 곰지 하고 저기 걸어올 게 놓고 자 걸어올 게 놓고 자 가면서 약고리 이니 dumar 때도 싫어 ਪਹਿ나 먼저 신다타고 저것이 무척이 지 우마치 계속 마시나요 니엔트기다 라고상기 질람디야 걸어올 거비 dumar 잘 타고 그걸 누가를 타러 할 때 이나에 탐식 캠프고 뭐 마타비 괜찮은데 강하잖아 강사 그 다음에 또 해요 쉬기 다음에 또 해요 강사 그 다음에 쓰기는 강사 공부가 님 거네 강고 앞에만 있어 그냥 맞잖아 뒤 당진데 유비기 자와들 때기도 강사 받았어 팀메바디 또 괜히 나서 이제 년초당 라장이 팀메바 또 해요 태권 전부 값이 되가 풍부도 파르쇼데 풍부기 땡기 차시 따라가는 거는 딱 기라도 막 시도 가다는 가서 아이템 뉴트론 사는 간런 피식스 견적 이제 시인데 좀 뭐죠 뒤에좀 지금 나신 거 뭔가 그냥 가지 저번에 저기 때 또 다음에 니도 없어요 저기 다음에 뒤도 어디 가라서는 저 디즈니를 때문에 그냥 돼서 그냥 틀리지 그냥 돼야 도와주게 그랬어 인도 강타 티케버티스 인도 지난주 진행 삼주고 비데 타바양도 못하고 말했어 내가 왜 대화 용거인데 타바도 보고 말했어 얘네 딱 데려 나가지 강사들 다음에 공부 인도는 만결게 남았어 디 도와되네 최대 다음에 공부 따와 다음에 또 최대 다음에 공부 가마되네 최대 다음에 탐지기는 거 완전 비밀 남들이 되어서 이제 인도 강아 당고 따와대 하고 따와대 하고 토라 얘네 뭐가 되고 샤르드니 스템랭 녀바 여기 녀바니 마셔도 되니 아무 공부 있잖아 공부 하고 이렇게 그랬어
So there's this kind of common widespread understanding that meditation is simply, a state of absorption in which thoughts are brought to a halt, or thoughts are suppressed or brought to a halt, and this sort of calm, thought-free state is meditation. Like I said, it's a type of meditation, and many traditions, spiritual traditions, teach this type of meditation, this type of shamatha meditation. In the Hindu traditions especially, they have many different methods for cultivating this kind of thought-free absorption. And like I said, this type of meditation is efficacious. It brings about certain results. By cultivating this state of shamatha, calm abiding, then one can develop the power of the mind, the power of conceptual mind, and this can blossom into different types of clairvoyance, prescience, miraculous powers, and impressive signs of meditative accomplishment. However, can this type of meditation alone lead us to liberation from samsara? It cannot. And as followers of the Buddha Dharma, as followers of Buddhist teachings, what are we pursuing? We are pursuing liberation from samsara. That is what we need, what we want. We want to be free from samsara and to attain perfect enlightenment. And just shamatha alone cannot deliver us to that state. Like I said, shamatha can also bring about some happiness and sort of well-being, within the limits of this life. But actually, science supposedly can too. If we want to, just perfect sort of the qualities and experience of this life alone, we can see that science and technology have been able to do that extraordinarily, especially in the last century or so, right? Look at how luxurious and convenient our environments have become. Luxurious living environments, transport, motor transport, air travel. You don't even have to walk up the stairs these days. You can just get in a lift. Food is so easy, so accessible, and so on and so forth, right? Our mundane life has become extremely luxurious and easy. Especially, you see this in the USA, right? Often I joke too, especially in my Asian students, that from their perspective especially, the USA is just so, like materially speaking, so incredibly luxurious. Almost like, I joke with them, it's like heaven on earth, However, we all know that in spite of this material development and comfort, people still suffer mentally, right? This material comfort doesn't bring mental well-being, and so in spite of it all, there is still mental suffering, and actually increasing mental suffering, and we see this especially, we see that now depression, mental illnesses, social problems, unrest and so on, that still plague people, and they seem to plague actually people in this kind of luxurious environment even more. It's pretty peculiar, right? It's pretty strange. Mental affliction, everyone suffers from mental affliction and mental pain, but it seems that people living in advanced societies, comfortable environments, people who are more educated actually suffer from depression, anxiety, and so on more than people who are not educated from a modern perspective, right? So that's a pretty peculiar and difficult dilemma that people find themselves in. It just goes to show, as we're all aware, that material well-being alone does not bring about mental well-being, right? And even all the scientific advancement that we've seen over the last century or more has created this, in a sense, heaven on earth, right? But still we suffer, right, in a sense, and many people suffer more than before. Fear, anxiety, angst, and of course more serious mental problems as well. So this fact, this dilemma has brought home the reality that we all need the spiritual, right? We need Dharma, or we could say we need the spiritual. But just having, like Dharma, just having spiritual tradition is not enough. We need to actually apply that tradition, that path, that we need to apply the Dharma to our minds, right? Apply the Dharma to our minds, otherwise it's not going to take effect. The best method for applying the Dharma to our minds is meditation. That's what meditation is about, cultivating the Dharma within oneself. In the same way, just being well versed in a spiritual tradition or being well versed in the Dharma is not enough. Learning is not enough. We know that we need to apply that learning in ourselves, and we do that through meditation, right? So that's why meditation is so important. The importance of meditation seems to be very well understood in the West. People are very interested in meditation, very keen to train in meditation. However, like I said, just if one lacks understanding of the view that should be the view that should guide our meditation, then the benefits of meditation will be limited. Limited, like I said, for instance, if we think meditation just means shamatha, just cultivating a still one-pointed state of mind, and we sort of spend, months and years and maybe our whole life just training in that type of meditation, actually, it's a waste. Because, like I said, the potential benefits, the potential of shamatha practice is limited. Say you master shamatha meditation and you can stay in a state of absorption for like 3 or 4 hours. Not a single thought, arises. You can maintain that state for 3 or 4 hours. But after 3 or 4 hours, you arise from that state, right? Thoughts start to emerge again. And when thoughts start to emerge, you suffer, right? So shamatha, the potential of shamatha is limited. It's like, shamatha is a bit like a painkiller, but a painkiller doesn't actually cure your disease. That's why we also need, if we want to experience ultimate benefit, long-term benefit, and not just short-term benefit, then we need a long-term antidote. It's a bit like antibiotics compared to a painkiller, right? If you take a course of antibiotics, they're going to, actually cure your infection instead of just numbing the pain. So, just through practicing shamatha, one can achieve great things, like I said, within the limits of samsara. As it's taught in the scriptures, one can even ascend to the very highest, most elevated state of existence, meaning samsara, a very refined kind of realm in one of the formless God realms, a very refined existence in one of the formless God realms, and through the power of absorption, meditative absorption, one can remain in this thought-free state, which is also a blissful state for up to tens of thousands of years. However, that state is not endless. That state is not endless because one has only cultivated shamatha. Even if one remains for tens of thousands of years, eventually a subtle thought will arise. And just like a spark can ignite fire, and that fire can grow into, a fire that consumes like a whole state, right? That subtle thought that initially arises is going to proliferate into further thoughts, coarser and coarser thoughts, and that's going to lead that being at the very peak of samsaric existence down back into the lower realms and eventually into the hell realms if they don't do something about it. And so samsara will continue. I'm not saying this, right? This is actually taught in the scriptures. It's also taught specifically in Nagarjuna's letter to a friend. We all need to attain happiness, right? And we want to attain long-term ultimate happiness, namely the state of liberation and perfect enlightenment. This is attained only through the wisdom that realizes the lack of self, wisdom that realizes selflessness. And this wisdom that realizes selflessness is only taught in the Buddha Dharma. It is not taught in any other tradition by any other tradition. So that's why it's so important to first ascertain selflessness, the lack of self, through the view. We need to ascertain the lack of a truly existent self through the view. And once we have a degree of understanding and certainty in the lack of self, then we meditate on that. We cultivate that certainty through meditation practice. Then we can actually gain for ourselves freedom from samsara, liberation from samsara, so that we do not have to be reborn again in samsara. Forget about the lofty practices of Mahamudra and the great perfection and so on and so forth. Even at the level of the Shravakas and Prashrika Buddhas, right, the Hinayana level of practice, those practitioners, by force of realizing the selflessness of the person, of the individual, they are able to attain liberation from samsara forever. However, such beings are not able to attain complete enlightenment because they've only realized an aspect of selflessness. They've realized the fact that the personal self, I, me, that I, this person that I think exists in mind and body, they've realized that doesn't exist, and that realization has brought them freedom from samsara. However, in order to realize full enlightenment, the fully awakened state, as is taught in the greater vehicle, then one needs also to realize the selflessness of phenomena, of all phenomena, which is the fact that all phenomena, including the subtle atoms and particles that make up, that comprise the body, that we grasp as being the personal self, that all those phenomena too, no matter how subtle, are empty, they are beyond conceptual constructs and extremes. So when the selflessness of phenomena is realized, that realization brings one to perfect, complete enlightenment, which is also described as being nirvana beyond samsara and nirvana, complete nirvana. So this is to say, to sum up, just the practice of shamatha alone can bring benefits only in this life. So the benefits of shamatha are limited to this life alone. When we practice vipassana, clear seeing, and through that we realize the selflessness of the individual, then we can attain liberation from samsara. In addition to that, when we realize the selflessness of phenomena, then further to liberation we also can attain the state of perfect enlightenment. This is why, it is said that it is so important for us to know the view. First of all, we need to ascertain the view, the way things really are. We need to sort of resolve this view conceptually, and until we gain a deep felt certainty in the view, in the way that things are, like a felt certainty. We then need to apply that. From that point onwards, we need to apply ourselves to meditation, and meditation in this case is the act of maintaining that certainty in the view. So we engage in meditation to maintain and habituate ourselves with that certainty in the view. If we approach meditation in this way, our meditation really will be effective and will bring significant benefits.
인주가라 딱 곰스기티 네다 인주다 라jel게 간사베 담베 곰은데 가라 코도게 담베 곰데 담베 몬도 키라이나야 테니 치 다롱야 테니 슈기 담베 마토바도 마토고 인zen게 테니 카바토라 슈이 파토 냐바샤니 데니 메게 테니 타 신감야 나 메게 테니 그라 이 투르키 신감소라게 대화진 신감소라게 나야 이니지 간세스나 생긴 남도자니 메바 띵인지게 찍인 나와야 되는 로 깔로레 이니 거 동사 부추이 봐도 되냐 그래서 제투고요. 이때와에 기부슈요 강나요. 이니야 띵인지 대야되가 산지게 지다 닌지 코다 틀데도 되네다. 디니 띵인들 띵인들이 알람 페나 꾸구 중중지 슈드지 야고는 이 냐세베 제수 야람은 거라다 야람 그래서 미데 치다사 그디지. 코니디 코 마상 공연 나야 코 모르고 이때인지가 가시때 삼기 좀 된데 진짜 있는 코 타라 탑지 김 고마도 오늘 밀랑 가네라 그냥 그거 부구나 진지게 오늘 나지 또 모르래 그런 이게 접선해야 나한테 그 미리 지기 남자야 가가 준비되지 않아 빼내는 진지게 다시 봐서야 그니 칼로통도 쉬이 보도 고발하냐 그러지 말 샤수 그니 칼로통도 쉬이네 되네 저때 크게 다 띵띵게 니바 말아 좀야 이세어도 그렇게 맞아 부구야 나게는 상기 좀오 줘야 농식이 다좀 받죠 간사때 담으면 그 다좀 거보다 톱에 가면서 양보래 오늘이 수시 이야기는 다좀 거 다른 좀 똑같아 상황이 중고 말에 그 상기게 또도 민주가 와서 이게 되네 연대 상맥이 주진 있어요 토요만 그 다른 상기 거 원고 다른 그 생긴 너무 못 찍어서 그 상기게 꿀 상군 거니 다좀 이 야랑게다 야나 상기게 꿀 되네 옷을 때 이야들 나오도 나오는 곳은 이 다좀 봐야 아티 오늘 나 상기게 나서게 추상님의 경험이 시에트면도 이 생긴 인증하랑 이 다좀 거 원토나 생긴 담좀 걸어와 참들 생긴 담들에 파마래 아시나 림도 당에 타러한 디 고쳐금도 심지어 탐지 산지 고하는 거죠. 저기 그치도 나한테 상명이 지도 뉴스사지 산지기 연전 뻔히 못하고 또 때니야 그냥 야랑데 바로 집에 돌아서 발람라 되고 야 근데 그리 이제 kalwa 타면 숨는다 빼니 교보도 kalwa 타면 숨는다 산지 고한도 근데 제레스 이디 파티그레스 인디 그 곰디 나 년초 곰당 장주선 곰디 소소레스 처럼 뭐디 뭐 남바 산지데 파쇼쇼데 남바 산지기 남이야 년초랑 이렇게 곰다 장주선도 곰이야 사소 강산 따와 본디고 막 저기 강사를 담아 지기다 주기 담아 다 하나 자기 전부도 저거 좀 이지고 해 자기 전부도 저거 좀 뭐지 상기 거 보는 건조야 통도 어야 강서 담행이 또는 담행이 또 그 상기는 상기 탑도 버려 묘하는 거지 계란도 그냥 농세랑 좀 계란도 대티나지 롱소 마하번데게 담행이도 그 상기 탑도 버려 너당가 그 상기 찍고 그랬어 근데 너당가도 상기 찍고 있는데 너희들랑 내 로봇이 자기 전부 저거 시에 강치기에서 그래야 도와서도 양 뒤에 따오고 저거 자기 친구 그거는 시가지나 답람다 지단 같은 나라 저게 망고여랑 류탑된 셰류 탑된 생에 뚜모 와서 포와 되는지 귤류 라서 위기 되는 람탑이가 그런 곰다다 뚜모야 곰레 뚜모 대주 곰데 자른 곰규한테 어야 되네 그 귤류 곰규야 곰 탐지 메디테이션 가지 뭐 메디테이션 시가요 무슨 곰 때 게임 나와야 공주 먹어줘. 디나지 전류 탑된 거는 야자롱 틀리고 공방 먹어줘. 전주 탐지 공도 가서나 상기 고반데 지 택바 첨부를 시비 담행이 또 라브 상기 톱교 세고 말때 이 톱종을 빼는 거라서나 셔트카트 근데 러시아 간다고 야나 빼 가리 나 콤바담 로겐데 오다 로켓 나 로겐데 오지 케버기 차게 첨부랑 그냥 신기 사바래 사 담행이 또 이시 톱교라 델레장한테 저거 좀 세지를 주기 상계도 가다 추추도 저렇게 나올 때에 때문에 이게 냠서 나와있는 다 대대로 거는 냠서 나와있는 세지를 주기 상계 그거 아니 남 물을 건 개발하는 것도게 지단계 도체니 대발의 상계디 차체처럼 저거 좀 상계 자체가 있을 좀 말해 진짜가 이 등식이 위자와지에서 계속 곰들 개발 먹고 줘야겠어 시험도 많게 탐지 곰지 거에 나도 나가 곰디다 치료를 못 하고 곰이 시발이 이 마인비 담당 요기스게 요가스게 먹고 자고 저 삼지 시발이 있었네 마지막에 지금 나니가 아스트레일리아 로디가 미 망고지 탕가께로 지금 라바디다 지금 봐봐 저도 지도데 그만 저서 맨풀리니스 지고 맨풀리스는 가만히서 가만히 나랑도 tempada 시신 거고 야게 약간 가만히 대학원에 있어 생겨올 딱 일 찾고 버지 레스는 가당게 되기는 밴딩 가서 그걸 쉬는 거지 탭도 요랬어
So the practitioners following the path of the Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, or in English we could say the listeners and hearers and the self-realized Buddhas, they realize, like I said, they realize the selflessness of the person, and through that they attain liberation. However, because they have not realized the selflessness of phenomena, then they have not reached full enlightenment, right? Such practitioners who realize the selflessness of the person, through the strength of that realization, they attain liberation and they remain in a state of absorption, thought-free absorption in the Nirmanakaya pure realms, a level of Buddha realm, for many eons, actually for like 10,000 eons, an extremely long time, in a thought-free state of absorption that is incredibly blissful. They remain in this state, in the pure realms. However, the Buddhas are aware that, the fully enlightened Buddhas are aware that these beings have not yet manifested full enlightenment. Their realization is not being brought to a full. And so, when the time is right, then through their compassion, they wake these beings up from their absorption. You might think they wake these beings up out of compassion in the way that, a parent might wake their child up from sleep. You might think, oh, well, if the Buddhas are so compassionate, why do they let these beings remain in this limited state for 10,000 eons, Why don't they just wake them up straight away? Well, it's a bit like if you wake a child up before the time is right, if you wake a child up too early, then the child's going to be distressed and it's going to cry, right? But if you wake the child up at the right time when it's got enough sleep, then it's not going to cry, it's going to open its eyes, and a smile is going to just, bloom on its face, and the child's going to be happy, right? So the Buddhas are like that. They let these Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas remain in this state of absorption until the state has almost come to an end, until the time is right. And then with their compassion, through a gesture, a bit like, snapping a finger and waking someone up, or through emanating light rays. This is actually taught in the scriptures. Buddha himself explained this. It's taught in a lot of detail. So in these ways, the Buddhas then rouse these beings from their state of absorption, and they say, hey, you Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, you've realized the selflessness of the person, and that is wonderful. You are liberate, you are free from samsara. However, there is still stuff you need to realize. You haven't reached the final consummate result of enlightenment yet. You still need to realize the selflessness of phenomena. There are countless Buddha qualities, natural awakened qualities that you need to manifest. You also need to display these qualities for the benefit of other beings, help them reach the stage of enlightenment. So there's still work for you to do. The Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas receive this message and they realize, oh right, that's the case. I still have work to do. I still need to realize these qualities. I still need to establish all other beings in enlightenment. And so they then continue on the path to the complete consummate fruition of perfect enlightenment. And then such practitioners, because of their previous realization and accumulation and so on, are able to manifest perfect enlightenment within 3 countless eons. So this is just one part, so to speak, part one option, one path. This is the path, how the path of the Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas work. I do not think though that the path of the Bodhisattva, the journey of the Bodhisattva, takes the same route. The various sort of practitioners of Buddha Dharma might all end up at the same result of complete enlightenment, but their paths there are different. Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddha path is one, Bodhisattva path is another, Tantric path is another, and so on and so forth. It's important to know this, to know that there are these different paths and trajectories. The differences between these practitioners comes from their type of meditation, and the differences in the meditation come from the differences in the view, right? Because the meditation is based on the view. How does one reach or manifest perfect, complete awakening, the ultimate consummate fruition of enlightenment? One does that by realizing the 2 types of selflessness, the selflessness of person and selflessness of phenomena, realizing those 2 aspects of selflessness in full. As such, the enlightenment attained by following the path of sutra and the enlightenment attained by following the path of mantra are exactly the same. There is no difference. It's not the case that the Buddha attained by tantric practitioners is superior to the Buddha attained by sutra practitioners. That's not the case, and this is agreed upon by all of the great masters of our tradition: Longchenpa, Nipa Rinpoche, Longso Mahapandita, Jigben Lingpa. Rinpoche quoted a few other great masters' names. Where do the differences come from? So there is no difference between sutra and mantra in terms of their ultimate result. The difference, however, is the way that result is reached. So different paths are taken to reach that same destination. Some of the paths are faster, and it's because some of the paths are faster. So like I said, in the tantric vehicles in the Vajrayana, there's a wealth of meditative practices, a wealth of skillful means that allow one to reach enlightenment much faster than when taking the approach of sutra. For instance, we have often the different skillful means are condensed into the path of liberation and the path of skillful means. So the path of skillful means includes the practices using one's own body and another's body. We also have the practices of like the illusory body, luminosity, inner heat, dream practice, transference of consciousness, and so on and so forth. These different yogic practices. We have the generation and completion stages. There are many different types of generation stage practice. Within the completion stage practices, we have the meditations on subtle channel winds and essences, many other practices as well. All of these practices are meditation practices. They are none other, they are meditation, different types of meditation. These practices we find, these meditation practices we find in the Vajrayana are very swift methods. They're like a shortcut. They present a kind of shortcut, and that's why they're regarded as more profound, because they deliver you to the result more quickly than the lower approaches. So the Vajrayana path, we could say, is a bit like a rocket, gets you very swiftly to, within a matter of lifetimes, you can attain the state of enlightenment, perfect enlightenment. The practice and path of the great perfection, even more so, through the practices of treksha, primordial purity, and togala, spontaneous presence, one can actually manifest full perfect enlightenment in a single lifetime and a single body. But like I said, the state of enlightenment that is reached by all these various paths is one and the same. It's simply that some of these paths are quicker and therefore regarded as more profound. The point is, so to sum up, the main point I want to make today is that we need to be aware that there are different types of meditation, right? And not all types of so-called meditation are the same. It's really important to understand this. A few years back I was in Australia teaching somewhere, and in the courtyard there were lots of people walking around very slowly, moving their hands and arms very slowly. I said, what are they doing? Someone said that they're practicing mindfulness. Well, that's very good. Mindfulness, awareness are very important qualities and very beneficial. But to think that that sort of practice alone is going to lead you to the final, ultimate result of enlightenment is total delusion. You're fooling yourself. So it's important in this way to understand that there are different types of meditation and to understand those differences.
답변은 가서 내가 공적인 거이나 가서 내 공적인 인식사랑 주요이나 따와 강도 다 항상 담에 지고 고기인가 야나 시와 조직이 답에 신내 지고 고기인가 니랑 거를 접어신 거 따오고 건강식 길로 이제 남아 줬던 때 생기 곱다는 게 있는데 지금 로켓만 로겐도 차로래 지 공부 잡는 로겐도 차지 거리는 로겐도 그렇게 차로 굉장히 가서 따와 되는 거는 개발도 셔.
So say we have all of us 20 or so people here. Let's say we'll sit down and we start to meditate together. Well, they're all going to be actually doing different meditations because the kind of our meditation is going to, the nature of our meditation will depend on what our view is, right? So what is your view? If some of you here have a meditation on the view of the selflessness of the person, okay, that's one, you're going to be doing one type of meditation. If some of you are just meditating on common shamatha, that's going to be one type of meditation. If some of you have the view of the great perfection, well, your meditation is going to be great perfection meditation. So then we'll have, we'll all be seated together doing meditation, but we'll be doing very different types of meditation. And as a result, some of us will, these different meditations, some of them will be like traveling in a rocket, some of them will be like walking by foot, some of them will be like going somewhere in a car, right? Going to the same place, but different modes of transport.
인디 강하다 가지고 당고 곰디 캐버리 요가다 합고기들 빼미게 계신분의 동거도 다 당상 유튜브도 페이스북도 당들 라만 담면하게 저기 있던데 때다 가사 간도 딜라망이다 민대전에 양산이요도 온데 제 담면하게 되는 라마만 거기 최시도 치절 처럼도 치절기 라마들에게 최시들 먹고도데 제 샘지가 남도 간이 대교티 고민이 생긴데 오직 이때는 망치들 동도 같이 돼야 버릴지 인디 강대 딘드데티네 곰기 디프렌트 소소요데 하고래 대형아서 거리냐면지게 되니 거리냐면지게 당고 뒤에 따와대 하고 하고 하지 우마냐면지나 우마기 때문에 자주 생기고 자주디 냐면지게 당고 하고 하지 대 곰지 당대 말이 찍고 돼 땅에 빠는 주시게 방스 때에 예방나 세대가 레로단에 담가지 신경 두미치 뒤져 띵나 방들이 야 되니까 담바시 사바다 땅 주지게 세대 주지게 저 땡기래 이거 마지나 생긴 내바고 조단이 조렌데 중에 소지는 거선 남시지 지금 승리배에 타고서다 곰담이셔야 뒤 순난 사는 예방나 주지게 생긴 내바고 뒤난 상대 그래서 이 대나 그레스를 마이너 빼미 개와진 티셔츠 그랑서 레레진 마사로 티셔츠 뒤나 말로만 대단한 대신 먹고 거르네다 지금 시에다 주소요 말라 이게 그 장타기는데 곰이 잡는 게 지금에서도 못하지 지금에 곰 이랑을 해야 나왔다는 말한 소리 지금 뒤거니 곰이 소소스 샤르고 양 포지션에 소소였다 같이 내려지는 얘기였다 다른 소라야 담미다게 대단 담미는 먹어도 더갈 책절라야 대단 담미는 먹어요 뒤에가 대단디에 이름지 나눠주는 지기 찍고 지래서나야 야 지금 제발 매비 따래 있는 곰디야 그냥 포지션디야 담미는 먹어요 인디가 소디 나눠주는데 그 간반이 길로 제라만이 내버려서 같이 다들 그냥 장쇼 이들 자고도 빠르게 미나제 버시 깨나도 된 짐바당 짐바 중세고 니 지금 나랑서 나다 미다 대화순디 말하던 때는 이제는 공주디 야벌에서 손셔 공주디 디레 딜라양 나다 미가 대화순을 때는 공주를 쓰긴데 지금까지 딱히 디프렌트 강요해서 맞죠 망고지 미숨 공주 미숨 남도가 되는 시유마 군진지가 미드 당고 미드 전부 당요 말에 전부 당양 출로 미드 숨겨 말 밀람미게 양 출로 미드 춤세 단디가 야샤 땅에 치 나와대 망가왔지. 치 나와대 망가비기 뛰는 그 팬더 거에서 마오부터 좀 아무리 온부 공할 오시기 그랬어. 오시기 오신 사실 오신가 온부 공할 괜찮고 뒤인도 뒤 윤진기 온부 고가교 말해서 공사람 좀 스밍가 좀 대니 안에 밑에 호르다 향들에서 향다기 최고다 향은 양 드라미들 미통 고동 통거래 되게 인도가라 뒤에 밑에 좀 중심 하나 밑 좀 샤버려 밑장 중교 밑에 좀 샤야 뭐 이쪽 다 보이셔 이쪽 밑에 지기네 공화 좀 값에는 무시 있게 제일 무시 좀 뒤에도가 밑에 뭐 단다 세타니 네 좀 봐야 많이 수부디 하고 류장나 짜장 농장 시에바장 이렇게 있습니다 다 근데 또 당신 꽤 먹을 하도 됐다. 내년에 프리프리시 유지가 니 프리프리시 유지자들한테 고즈고즈만 제시를 해마서 얘기 가라. 야, 그냥 진짜지라도 두주도 됐잖아 봐. 이 대화도 들리는 거만 주시기 때문에 주장하지 않는 리더들이 다 그냥 뭐 두주 되기 거라. 저 들리는 거만 주시 또 두주고 또 열고 그러시도. 이 거만 주시기 하는 저 들리는 저 스탠다 대하시는 거만 설명만 하라. 시에
So again, it's incredibly important that we are aware and that we understand that there are different meditations and how. So because it really does seem there's this pervasive misunderstanding and misinformation these days. I've seen it, people teaching all over the place on YouTube, on Facebook, here and there. Most people teaching meditation seem to be teaching that meditation is simply, like I said, sitting still, cultivating a thought-free state of mind, and that. Yeah, this is misleading because, like I've said, meditation is much more than that, and there are many. Yes, meditation is much more than that. So I'm not going to mention names, but a lot of teachers, including Western teachers, are teaching like this, and this is erroneous. So it's really important to understand what is what. Like I said, meditation needs to be based and grounded in the view. So that being the case, first of all, we need to ascertain the view. Okay, I'm going to engage in meditation.